Hello everyone, and it's been a few days since the character packs released. I imagine that the community would have had enough time to see how it is and whether or not they like the system or not, and I wanted to discuss it, because I saw player numbers peaking around 46,000, which isn't too great, but then again it's a small DLC and that's kind of expected. It's cheap and it shows, right? But considering that after Lords of the End Times this might be the format moving forward, considering that Creative Assembly themselves, it's very important to state that, have left some rather interesting stuff in the game files, which I do believe is an accident, by the way. I don't think they do these things intentionally, but that could be the basis of future character packs. The Monkey King, Marienburg, and whatever else may be found in the current days, because I know modders are sweeping through it. Now, Bertsche being the first character pack, I think was a bit of a strange one, considering that she's a character that nobody's really known in the lore before. I'm not saying that she's bad in any way, shape, or form. It's more, well, it's hard to be excited about something that's completely new. It's cool, and the Tiger Men aren't really new, but you get what I mean here. Now, I'm using a mod by Green Phoenix, which is linked in the description below in case you want it. It basically just brings in the known cut content that was in the game files, which is basically just one Tiger Warrior with hand weapon and shield and a Regiment of Renown. It's always nice to see that. It's a shame that that seems to be cut content. Actually, fun fact, he's added in another unit because in the database there was another unit that was in there, just didn't have any artwork. So Tiger Stalkers with dual kataras, meaning that's another Tiger Warrior Stalker, but with no range weapon, just a additional hand weapon, which is pretty cool, actually. It's, you see, even day by day, more stuff is being found out. I'm just spitballing here. Imagine if they would have done Joseph Bugman, the Grudge Pony, and also Bugman's cards, so 2 cart units. These all have rules on the tabletop as per the old world, and were always models prior to the old world, so it doesn't really hit on the IP issue. Make a generic Engineer Lord, because I know a lot of people have been asking for that, even though it doesn't really fit too well with Bugman, but really it's the best way to go. Then, instead of a generic hero, since basically all of them have been done, have a legendary hero, and, I don't know, for a third unit, Drake Fire Pistols for Iron Drakes, and that's it. Basically covers everything in the scope that they've mostly been doing, and that's 3 units, a Lord that everyone's been asking for quite some time now. And that, I think, feels quite decent for a starting Lord pack. Again, very different. But I would be more excited about that than I would be about Bertsche, because Bertsche really need more units. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because I don't think the character pack system is flawed. I think that it just didn't come out too well. And I feel like character packs do have a place in the Total War Warhammer sphere, potentially even for 40k too, depending on how things go. And it's very clear that they've got more plans because in the database this is listed as CP1, so character 1. Like the others, we have DLC 1 and the rest. If it was a one-off, it wouldn't have a number next to it. As a first character pack, Bertsche showed us a brand new format which could effectively increase the cadence of DLC launches with brand new characters and units, even if it was a little bit smaller and so far has taken pretty much 6 months, which is still a bit too slow for what was done for this DLC. It shows that Creative Assembly still have a lot of ideas for potential future works. And that's good, because, I mean, there's still a lot of stuff that's been discussed through various leaks in the past that still hasn't come to light, and if you go on, say, for example, the Missing Units page on Steam, which has been curated by a fan since, I think, Warhammer 2, there's still loads and loads of units and characters, a lot of characters that are missing for loads of different races. So we could slowly see the world filled out a little bit more. We'll talk about the map congestion another time this week. The problem is that Creative Assembly don't seem to read the room when it comes to certain characters, where some characters should have larger packs than others. They've done it with Tides of Torment, with some of them getting a lot more unit variants, and while unit variants might not be the most exciting thing to some people, they are certainly exciting when it comes to the introduction of new units and new cultures. In Tides of Torment, we had 2 versions of the Kurgans. Sure, basically units that we've already had before, but the fact of the matter is that's a tribe that hasn't been represented before, well, more so a people. Then 2 units of Bearmen. Again, still what we've had in the past, it's just buffed up Marauders, basic Marauders, but it's cool to see something of a separate tribe coming in. Now, that alone wouldn't have been enough for sales DLC, which is obviously why we ended up getting some other units too. You see what I mean here? The introduction of a new culture should have demanded more units. I've seen some people say, well, this is because it's a mercenary pack, so it shouldn't have as much as a normal DLC. As this isn't an Ind pack, this is a smaller pack for Cafe. But that's not all that's in Ind. Ind is majority human. Well, from what we know in older lore. So this doesn't really matter at all. The Tiger Men should have been represented a little bit more with some extra units to get you the feel of Tiger Men. If anything, this just gives me another feeling of Shadows of Change, where they wanted to try out a new format, and in theory it's not a bad one, but it needs to be improved lightly. Now, I don't know what can happen with the Beshiva pack. I don't know if they do have other units that are fully completed or halfway completed, so I don't expect this just being added in and expanded upon, but for future character packs, it needs to be done better. It's just weird on how Creative Assembly handles some stuff, because the DLC is now on Mixed, which I think is around 51%. That's not normal. That's literally not normal at all. Now, it's good that the community is making their voice known. It's not just this, it's talking about the patch, which we'll touch upon now. But this, like reviews, that's how Creative Assembly responds to negative stuff. They don't respond a lot to normal criticism, because they'll think, oh, well, people are buying it, it's just perfectly fine. Which is not a way to handle things. I don't know what's gone on, but something is just not right with certain situations at CA. Are there people testing the DLC? Are employees testing the DLC? Are they sitting down and going, yep, the patch and the DLC content is good enough? Is feedback being taken into account, or is everyone just too afraid to say something in, fear of getting cut? Because that does happen with certain companies. The patch is abysmal, I'm not gonna lie. And it's kind of sad. It's a 0.0 patch, and they've said, well, it's a smaller pack, where the smaller pack now demands a smaller patch. The problem is that the game has a lot of issues, and it's been wildly known through a lot of Reddit threads that, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that Creative Assembly have kind of promised to look at, and have still yet to look at. And this isn't just talking about the AI, and of course, the Siege rework, which has taken over a year, and it looks so far to be the same thing that was tested last year. Grand Cafe got a much needed tech tree update, which doesn't really benefit the Tiger Men too much, but it did really add in a bit of a change, which makes it a lot better, I will admit. But then any other changes, like for example the Lords and Hero, mostly Heroes, the Hero changes themselves, overpowered. That's a big problem there, as you can imagine. So I needed a day one hotfix, which is not great, just nerfing them straight off the bat after the content creators have just been going, yeah, this is really strong, this is really strong. That could have been tested prior. This DLC has been in production for a while. There was no changes to Miao Yin and Zhao Ming, two characters that desperately need something just to make them a little bit more unique. There's still the very annoying ogre camp raiding issue for Zhao Ming. You're incentivized to recruit ogres, and they put a little camp there just to give you that push. The issue is it's always raiding you, so you're actually having issues from there. Again, an issue that's been there since that ogre was added in, which I think was the start of Immortal Empire, so it's been a few years now. Clear problems aren't being fixed up. The two base game dragons don't have anything. I've said this before, but it's something that should have been done now. I guess there's still chances of Cafe DLC coming. There have been previous leaks, and I do think that Creative Assembly are likely going to do more DLC for Cafe because it's easy cash. But that depends if Creative Assembly are actually being truthful when they say that there is a lot more plans after the end times, which I'm going to be honest with you, I do not believe. We have been here before, and I'll see it to believe it. The thing is, as much as I want to hate on this DLC, I do like the concept of character packs. Again, if it was done on another race, less units would have been fine, but not on a race that has just been newly introduced, and not when stuff is being left in the game files of content. I don't know why they even put a lot of new content or possible new content in there too. It seems that something weird is going on. It's likely because, let's be honest, they are busy with 40k and mistakes are being had because devs are jumping from project to project. This format could be the innovation that Total War actually needs. Single packs, which will actually make DLC cannons come faster, meaning that the community gets their content a little bit quicker and won't get as bored so easily. But Beshiva itself, with the balancing and the patch, unfortunately means it's a one and done. I have not felt the need to go back to the other Cafe Lords, which is disappointing. A DLC, when it comes with a small update, should give you the reason to do that. if you go back to 6.2 or 6.3, was it, where we had the update for the Tomb Kings and for the Lizardmen, small as they may be, it still gave you an incentive to go back, and it fixed some clear issues. When it comes to a rework, like say for example what happened to Norska, well, that gave me a reason to go back and play Frog and Wolfric. The High Elf update overall made me go back and play with the other High Elves, because while it didn't add a lot of mechanics to the other factions, barring, you know, Tyrion and Teclis, it still had enough to go back to enjoy myself again. That's what we need from patches which are attached to DLCs. That's the stuff which really allows for the replayability. But I just want to say my piece on this, because it wasn't until the mod release that I felt the need to go back to Grand Cafe, which sucks because it's exciting, you know, and especially since it's new units. These are units that I'm looking forward to. Hopefully at some point we'll see, maybe in the old world, it would be really cool to paint up some Tiger Warriors, but it's just kind of soured me a little bit on it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. I needed a little bit of a time off because of the heat wave. I can see why the English complain about it. This is my first heat wave in the UK. These houses are built to retain heat, and my god, I'm sweating here more than I'm sweating in Spain, you know? It's absolutely wild. But yeah, have a good day, guys. I'm not sure if I'm going to stream today. It depends on the heat. And I'll see you all again very, very soon.